Hello, Lisa here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the continuation of my full deck collection series of videos I'm doing for my 2022 deck collection update. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my Oracle decks from the letter O to the letter Z. Let's get into it. We are kicking this off with the Objective Oracle. This is such a great little deck. I am so glad I backed this on Kickstarter. It's a really sweet divination style deck. It really probably belongs more with like my Lenormand and other, but I feel like it pairs so well with so many different things. It has these like everyday objects and then a whole bunch of keywords for what that could mean in a reading. So you can really use it for like predictive readings or for just general oracle card or clarifier readings. It's a really great all-purpose little deck. It's so cute. I will have a link to the website down below. I think it's currently out of print, but it is a sweet little deck, and I hope the creator does do another print run because it's pretty great. Oh goodness. Oh, this one. Okay. So I have some feelings. It like barely fits in this bag, but I'm making it work because it's sea turtles and it's perfect. The Ocean Dreams. I have mixed feelings. And this was a say yes to the deck purchase for me, and it's so beautiful. I just don't know. I don't know how it's working for me yet. I have done a little bit of work with it. I think in all honesty, it probably needs more time. I don't know if this one's really in jeopardy. No, it's not in jeopardy. What am I thinking? It's so beautiful. It's so pretty. Look at the backs. It's so gorgeous. I feel like it's really great for, obviously, for connecting with ocean energy. But it does have a bit of this, like, sort of, I don't know, kind of new agey vibe that is not always my thing. But it's so pretty. It does feel really soft. Nectar of Life. I mean, oh gosh, words just don't even for this artwork. But in practice so far, I've worked with it a little bit, and in practice, it's kind of not hitting the way that I was hoping it would hit. You know, I think I am going to put it in my maybe box just to look at again before I decide for sure that it's safe, because I don't know. I do think I need more time with it, but that is the Ocean Dreams, a Mystic Oracle by Danielle Noel. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I don't know. We'll put it in the basket. We'll see. Next is the Old Ways Magic Oracle. This is such a gorgeous deck. It's quite thin on cards. It would make beautiful altar cards, but the artwork is absolutely breathtaking, and the themes explored in these cards are so expansive and incredible. It feels elemental and witchy and magical and Celtic and really special. It has like an interesting texture. The cards have a bit of a texture. It's not linen. They just have like an interesting feel to them. But gosh, this artwork is just everything. I have paired this with the Wildwood, and it was a really incredible pairing. So it is a gorgeous deck. I want to do some more work with it, but it is safe. I love the keywords so much on this deck, and it does feel like it connects me a little bit to more crone-like energy. I'm not entirely sure why that is, because it doesn't, I mean, it does feature some crone-like figures, but it just has that vibe of it. Really beautiful Oracle deck, very special. The Oracle of Echoes, this is an oldie but a goodie. This is actually the second edition. I had the first edition. Can we talk about this bag pairing for a minute? This is my small Peggy bag that I got for it. It's so pretty. Anna Turian's artwork is really incredible. And I love the Oracle of Echoes, and this second edition did have some additional cards that were added to it. I also like that the cards feel a little more borderless because the text is just on the card. There isn't like a banner at the bottom like there used to be. So it feels just more open and fluid in a way. Gosh, Anna's work is so emotive. This is another really good like workhorse Oracle deck, much like the Connected and Free is for me. This is very expansive. The keywords are incredible. It's a really good Oracle deck, and it does see a lot of use typically in my collection. Next up is a three-parter, because I have a mega deck. Well, I guess it's kind of a mega deck that is made up of the Oracle of Oddities, the first, second, and third edition. This is so fun. This is fairly new in my collection. I love these. Oh my gosh, I love these so much. Of all of Claire Goodchild's decks, this is definitely my favorite. It is so powerful. It feels like it just reads like a dream. And of course it pairs beautifully with the Antique Anatomy Tarot, but like on its own, it reads very well. And I just love the vibe of this. Of course, its vintage look really lets it go with a lot of things. If you nerd out about anatomy at all, there's some cool layers there that you can get into, but I just think it's got a really unique and cool aesthetic. And I love all of these combined. There was 1 or 2 duplicate cards when you combine all 3 editions, and I just put those away, and I've got a perfect deck. Just a perfect deck. I love it. Oh, the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. This little Oracle deck, we've gone on quite the journey, me and this deck. I have this mass market version of the deck, and then I got a first edition copy of the deck, which was on a thicker cardstock, but actually I enjoy shuffling this one more because even though it's a very thin cardstock, it's just so lovely and comfy to shuffle that I ended up keeping the mass market and rehoming the first edition. This one is not an aesthetic that's normally my vibe, right? But it's very, very cool, and it reads really predictively. Working with this one with the guidebook is really cool. It has, it's based on traditional astrology, so only the first 7 planets, if I remember correctly. But you have like every sign in every planet paired with every sign, and you get these like cards that sort of carry that combined energy. It's very cool to work with in that way. I've pulled parts of my chart, obviously the traditional planet parts of my chart with this deck, and it's been really illuminating. There's something about also the way the guidebook is written that also makes it really good for predictive readings for me. It's just really unique, and I haven't been able to bring myself to part with it. I've considered it a couple of times, and I just am like, nope, there's just nothing else like it in my collection. Even up against the Heavenly Bodies, this just feels very, very different. I mean, y'all knew I would have the Oracle of the Unicorns, right? Like, I have to. It's like a requirement. I did repurchase it in the beautiful matte cardstock. I did have the original glossy version, which actually, funny enough, the glossy version is really cool because it almost feels like photographs. I can't decide whether I want to be zoomed in or zoomed out, so I keep changing my mind. We'll go there. This is just a mixed bag of artwork by a whole bunch of different people, but I really love it. It's gorgeous. I love the northern lights on the background, or on the backings rather. I love all of these images. I love the messages. I love the keywords. It's pretty. It's like all unicorns all the time, but it doesn't feel overly cheesy like so many of the unicorn stuff that comes out sort of feels. It's got a bit of a mix. There's a little cheese in there, of course, but it's mixed in with like cards like this that just feel so ethereal and beautiful. Love the chin tuft on that dude. Love it. And I love that it's not all like this, you know? We get powerful unicorns, we get intense unicorns, you know, it's not all the same sort of deal. Love this artwork. I used to have a phone case years and years ago with that artwork on it, actually. Love, love, love this deck. I mean, it's unicorns. It's me. This is obviously in no danger at all. The Outgrow Yourself Oracle and Tarot. This was like a tarot for me for a bit, but it's really settled into the Oracle spot in my collection and actually works really, really well for any kind of self-worth readings that I do for myself or for clients, and also any kind of body image sort of stuff. It's really great for. It's got this kind of messy body figure, sort of figure that goes throughout the whole deck. It is a Thoth-based tarot. Really, it operates as either a tarot or an oracle or both. And the cards do align with a Thoth. However, I freaking just love taking it at face value and reading the messages as an oracle deck. I just find that it works really well in that way. So I keep coming back to using it like that. But if you know and love the Thoth system and are looking for something really unique that taps into that energy, this is a really, really different and cool deck that does that. But I just love using it as an oracle deck. So that's the Outgrow Yourself Oracle and Tarot. Next up is the Pear Tree Oracle. Now this actually lives in a special tarot box where I keep Danny's Pear Tree Court, and I also keep a copy of her Mystic Masters Tarot. Danny's decks work beautifully together, so I tend to keep them together, but actually this Pear Tree Court Oracle works very, very well next to a lot of decks, and Danny's choice of keywords here is so great, and these characters really, really give you the sass, let me tell you. There is a lot of empowerment in this deck, and it just gives a lot of flavor. It's really great. I'll have a link to where you can buy this down below. You can get it just straight from Make Playing Cards these days, but I just think she did such a great job with this little deck, and I'm so pleased to have a copy of it. Oh my goodness, the Portals of Presence. Okay, well, if you've ever had a past life reading from me, at least since I got this deck, you've seen this deck. It became a huge and important part of my past life reading that I do for clients. it just slotted into that so beautifully. These cards, though, y'all, these are massive. These are art cards. These are postcards. They are 4x6. They're huge. I am able to shuffle it going sideways, but it's really not a practical size for a deck of cards that you intend to like work with. I make it work because the artwork is so powerful for the purpose that I use these cards for. But these are obviously incredibly safe in my collection. The fact that they're massive really gives these faces that are on every single card even more potency, because they almost are like face sized. You know what I'm saying? So like really hits in that way when you're looking at them, which I'm sure it was part of the reason. This deck, in case I didn't mention, is by Deborah Cove-Chapin, who is the creator of the Soul cards, which is the primary deck I use for past life readings. But this deck and the Soul cards work together to help me weave the connections that I need to tap into the past life work that I do. And they've become indispensable in that way. So of course they're incredibly safe, and they got a very special single pocket wrap custom made for me by my wifey because she loves me. But these really need a special wrap because they are used for special work. And so yeah, Portals of Presence, love, 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 love. This deck is one that is really unique. This is the Power of Surrender cards by, I forget the creator. I'm not going to guess. I'll have the link to the deck down below. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I'm just not sure. These are really interesting. They are all about surrendering, and they're, I think, a really powerful tool for doing any kind of like healing work. And I find them really good for daily pulls or reflective pulls. Yeah, I think these are probably safe. They're a little bit dated feeling to me, just the style of them is dated, but I really enjoy the way that it works. It feels very empowering. Surrender to setting limits, surrender unhealthy relationships, surrender the drama, surrender to spirit, surrender to sleep, surrender to prayer, surrender your fear of intimacy, surrender to effortlessness. Like, it's just so much good stuff in here. And I do find it's really good to just kind of check in with yourself on all of these different points. The little messages are great. I don't feel the need to reach for any kind of a guidebook. I don't even remember if it came with a guidebook, but you kind of get all you need from this card. And again, from each card rather, because the message is on there. Really, really good as like sort of a bedtime reflective pull or a daily draw or an altar card, that kind of thing. So yeah, I think this one is actually safe. The Radiant Crystal Oracle. This is such a gorgeous deck. It is kind of in danger, but only because there's something that's come into my life that just managed to just slide just ahead of it and may end up taking over the spot that this has been enjoying. This is so beautiful. This is definitely my favorite crystal deck I've ever touched or held. It is so, so beautiful. You get these gorgeous images of crystals on the front. Let me zoom you in so you can see it better. Gorgeous images of crystals on the front, and then all the crystal information, including a sort of affirmation message on the back. Love this so much. I did an entire video about this deck. It's very well done. I love the lavender edges. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. And so this is not an issue of me like not enjoying this deck or not enjoying working with this deck. It's just an issue that there's a deck that turned out to be a little more practical. However, I'm kind of reserving my judgment because there was a Kickstarter that the creator did where they did another edition of their tarot deck. And then they also created some kind of a workbook for working with this and I think the tarot together or something. I'm waiting to kind of see what that looks like before I decide the fate of this deck. So I'm not going to put it into, well, I'm still going to put it into the maybe box, but it's probably safe until I have a chance to see what my long-term work with it could look like. But that is the Radiant Crystal Oracle. Has there ever been a deck besides maybe Monster Tarot any safer than the Reclaim deck in my collection? Probably not. The Reclaim is so, so special. I love this Peggy bag for it so much, and I got sent this sweet little patch by the creator of the deck, and so Peggy stitched it onto this bag for me, and it's like literally perfection. The Reclaim Oracle, now this is the first edition. There's been other editions since then. This is not an art style that initially spoke to me at all, but then when I looked at the images and realized just how powerful this deck is, every single card speaks to some sort of emotion or sensation, and a lot of it is very pokey. A lot of it is very vulnerable and intense in that way, and there's no other deck that ever has gone to some of the places that this one does in illustrating what a feeling or an experience, like what does resentment look like? I mean, that's what it looks like. You know, what does closure look like? What does humility look like? What about inhibition? It's so dang good. It's speechless. It is so good. And Marion Constantin really just, again, knocked it out of the park. This is such a powerful deck. There's nothing that's ever come close to doing the kind of work that I can do with this one. So it's eternally safe. I can't imagine it not being with me. The Reclaim Oracle. This is another super safe one, and I actually have 2 copies of this. This is the Roots and Wings Oracle. So I have the full size, and I have the tin. Now, there is a chance that I might let go of one of these just because I don't know that I need to, but it's my favorite Oracle deck, like, really of all time. So, like, I mean, I guess having 2 copies isn't the end of the world. I love the full size. Obviously, it's got that tarot feel. It's rose petal cardstock, which breaks in a little bit and gets a little easier to shuffle over time. It does hold a bit of a bow. It's beautiful. It's so expansive. The artwork is incredible. I just feel like it works really well at helping me connect with my intuition. It works really well at just sort of pairing with just about any kind of deck and just helping to sort of clarify messages. I can use it like a tarot. It's just a really good workhorse Oracle deck for me, and I freaking love it. Also, can we just talk about that bag match? It's like perfect. Love, 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 love. And I also got this little tinned version, which is on a smooth cardstock. I haven't really used the tin all that much because I tend to always reach for my full size, which is a reason why I could see myself letting this go. But then again, I don't have very many pocket oracles. I only have like 2. I have this and the little cryptids. So it's probably safe. It came with this sweet Roots and Wings divination coin too, which is so fun. So that is the Roots and Wings Oracle, the tin version, but love this deck so much. Next up is the Sacred Creators Oracle. I'm loving the heck out of this, especially these days. I wasn't sure if I needed this deck, and all of y'all, basically, my subscribers, the people who watch my channel regularly, were like, Lisa, you need this, and then I got it, and I don't regret it. This pairs with so many things. I actually featured this in a Mass Market Madness video recently because it's such a great, affordable deck that just is such a good all-rounder. Like, these messages are so good. These color splotches make it match with like basically everything. You can put it next to just about any deck and it'll look great, and it'll give you really good clarifying messages. And it does have this really wonderful guidebook that really helps if you are trying to tap more into your creativity, but it goes beyond that. It's not just creativity. And in fact, every card has a self-care message in addition to an essential meaning, which is so awesome. It's a really great Oracle deck that's just incredibly useful. And I would not have thought that just by looking at it. I was like, words on cards. Okay. But in working with it, it's actually been incredibly useful. Right now, it's one that I always have a card from this deck up on a card stand that I keep by my bed, and I reflect on it, and it's been really helpful while I am in the middle of a big creative project, actually a couple big creative projects, and this has been really super helpful. I love this deck. Next up is a series of 3. These are the Seasons of the Witch Oracle decks that are out so far that I have. So we have Seasons of the Witch, the Beltane Oracle. Seasons of the Witch, the Samhain Oracle. And Seasons of the Witch, the Yule Oracle. I love these. This is the first one that came out, then this one came out, and then this one came out, and I cannot wait to get the next one, which I believe is it Imbolc? I think Imbolc is next. I'm so excited to get to work with this actually really soon. By the time you're watching this, I'm probably already working with it because I'm filming this in November, but I didn't work with this one a ton this Halloween, but it is such a beautiful, witchy, it does feel incredibly witchy and magical and deep. It's not like kitschy, if that makes any sense. And it really feels like it holds the energy of the season of each Sabbath so far, and I want a whole set. I want a whole set. I love them so much. So the Samhain one has this beautiful, like, sort of bloody red. I say bloody, like it's all dark and creepy, but like I love that like red highlight to that deck. The Beltane one has all of this beautiful Beltane energy. This golden honey vibe runs through it, and we get that on the backs too. We really get that sort of spring vibe. There's a lot of sensuality in this deck, which is super appropriate for Beltane. I really, really love this. And the messages in the guidebook are gorgeous. I love the little like poem-like messages on each card. And then the Yule one brings that wintry, gorgeous energy with bright green edges. And I don't care if it chips. I don't care about any of that stuff. I just really think these bring the energy of each of their seasons that they represent, each of the Sabbats that they represent, to the forefront. And I think it's just something really special that is being created. And to have 8 of these, it'll make my heart so happy. I really, really hope that Rockpool and the creators stick with it for the entire thing. That is the intention. I always just get nervous though. I'm like, I hope it continues. Please continue it no matter what. We will continue to buy. We're completionists. We want them all. We want them all. I do anyways, but I love these. They're going nowhere. Oh, the seed and sickle. This one was in my collection, then it was out of my collection, then it was back in my collection. And I think it is going back into the basket despite this incredible bag match. Can we just for a moment? I do really love this deck. However, I do have, okay. Dawn's going to kill me because I totally was like, Dawn, you need this deck. Dawn Michelle Bohotero. Like, you need this deck. And I was like totally like pushing this deck on her because I do think it's just a really beautiful special deck. But the one worry that she had, which is the one thing that I said, it's fine, it's worth it. And I do agree with that, is that there's no keywords on the cards. You get the name of whatever the botanical is, which does mean that you do usually need to kind of go to the guidebook. But this is a really cool system because there are actually 2 guidebooks. I really enjoy the Dusk guidebook, but there's also a Dawn guidebook. And you get a different message depending on which guidebook you reach for. Which is really unique to this deck. I've never seen another one do that. And I've gotten really beautiful messages from this. However, much like the Radiant Crystal Oracle, there is another deck that has come in that is sort of probably going to unseat this one from its spot in my collection. So this is going to go into the maybe box, but it's not because it isn't beautiful and it doesn't read beautifully, because it does. I just think there's something that I will use more. So I'm going to put this in the maybe and hope that Dawn Michelle does not kill me. Okay. Next up is the Self-Care Wisdom cards by Cheryl Richardson. These are sweet. These are staying. I really like having a deck kind of like this for when I do self-care chakra readings for clients. I really like having a bit of a homework card, a card I can pull to suggest an activity, something they can do to focus on with regards to their self-care. And I love this one. I think it's really got a good mix of sort of tangible activities and like non-tangible, more like internal processes, which I really enjoy. So each one has a beautiful piece of artwork on the front and then a little message on the back. So there's focus, change, rituals, abundance, beauty, action. But it's a really usable deck because you do get this little message on the back. So if you're looking for just a simple deck you can use to do self-care work, I think this is a good one. I am really grumpy about Hay House's cardstock. I hope they get it together because I've used this deck very little and it literally bowed just sitting around. And this has been a real issue with their cardstock lately. It bows, it like dents, it warps, it does all this weird stuff, and I hope they get it sorted out because that's a bummer. But it is a very affordable deck, and of course we do get what we pay for, but you can kind of see even in the box the way it like, look, it's warped, like it rocks. Like why? That's not from Shuffle. That's just what the cardstock does. I hope they get it figured out because it's disappointing. But the actual deck is gorgeous. Great cards, great selection of cards, great messages. Do really enjoy it. Wish it was better physical quality. But again, these are not expensive decks. So, but I feel like they could do better. And now we come to the deck that like is totally going to unseat other things in my collection. So this is the reason. This deck is the entire reason why I'm not sure about the Radiant Crystal Oracle and the Seed and Sickle Oracle might go. And there is another deck in this video that I'm going to be sharing with you that also might be going. Because this one is so perfect for me. So anyways, I actually have 2 copies because I have the prototype copy I was sent. You can really see the difference here. Check this out. This is the prototype. This is the actual final version of the deck. But I have used the crap out of this prototype. And if you caught anything from my other decks I've talked about where I've gotten prototype copies, you'll know that I tend to be a little bit weird about using my prototypes a whole lot. I tend to work with the full version of the deck usually. There are some exceptions. But I have used the absolute crap out of this prototype deck because it is just everything to me. So let me just put this prototype away and show you the actual one that came in. I'm so excited. So this is, it's so beautiful. Beautiful guidebook that I have not even really gotten a chance to play with. But the fact is that the deck works so well just out of the box without doing anything special. Oh, this feels so luxurious compared to that prototype. So really, really beautiful artwork. The artwork is by Mari in the Sky, who created the Gentle Tarot, but this deck was imagined and created by Kara Simons. And what I love, and I could just go on and on and on, but I'm going to try to keep it short. What I love is that there is a little bit of plant magic in here, some nature in here. There's things like storms are in here, brook, trees, and flowers, and animals, and crystals. Not many crystals, to be completely fair, but oh my gosh. This is everything I've ever wanted from a nature deck and more. And because of this deck, I just don't want to reach for any of my other nature decks. She even gives you a spread card and then a bunch of blank cards so that you can add your own grandmothers to the deck. And I think I actually might. So I'm really giving that some serious thought, because there are definitely some grandmother energies that I would want to add here. Some things that might be missing that I think will make this deck just even better for me. So I will consider that. But drawing scares the crap out of me. So yeah, we'll see. In any case, oh my gosh, is this ever so beautiful? So because of this, there are other decks that are now in danger, which is great. It's always wonderful to find a deck that just does everything you want it to do and more, and this one is that for me. My soul cards 1 and 2 are like beloved treasures. Like, this is one of those things that if there was ever like a fire or something and I had to grab decks and save them, I would probably save this one. Not because I can't replace it, because I can, but I can't replace this specific copy, which has just lived so much life with me. It also has a very special custom-made one pocket wrap from Peggy. This deck, this is my past life deck, my soul reading deck, my spirit communication deck. I've done so many incredibly intense, magical, powerful things with this deck, but it is soul cards 1 and 2 combined, and you can still get these decks today. I believe nowadays the soul cards 1 still has this kind of color on the back, but soul cards 2 I think is maroon. This was one of the very first copies of this deck that was ever printed, so it didn't have that maroon backing, but so the blues I think blend better than the blue and the red, but still, I just don't have any words. There's no meanings, there's no keywords, there's no titles. The little pamphlet that comes with this does not give you any of that. This is 100% designed to be intuitive work only, and it has been so incredibly transformative for me. It's a treasured possession for sure. So that is my soul cards 1 and 2 combined. I have also had the Tao Oracle for a very long time, and I freaking love this deck too. This is another oldie but goodie that has stood the test of time. It is based on the I Ching, and it's very beautiful. Good, wonderful keywords. It's just a great workhorse and all-rounder. It gets kind of lost in the shuffle because I have so many other Oracle decks that I use in the same capacity, like my Roots and Wings or my Connected and Free, but this just works really well in the same way. I feel like I can pair it with almost anything, and I can read it much like a tarot because it's fully balanced, just like a tarot, because it's based on a balanced divination system, the I Ching. So it has that built-in balance, which I love so much, and I've had this deck for years and years and years, and it has always stood the test of time. Next up, the Threadbound Oracle. I really love this, but I never use this, but it's so unique, but I don't know. I think this is going to go in my maybe box, but I love it. It's so clever and awesome, and I love it, and I never use it, and I don't know why. It's so good. It's on a matte cards, like a matte linen cardstock, which is so lovely to shuffle. Oh, it's beautiful. I love this so much. This is by Cedar McLeod, who also created the Numinous Tarot. I really love the keywords. I think this could also be a workhorse sort of deck. There's like 3 keywords for every card. No, every time I look at this, I'm like, no, it's safe. It's just that I don't ever reach for it. And I think sometimes that's because I have noise in my collection, and sometimes just reminding me that I have gorgeous, beautiful things like this to reach for. It's also a really good one to pair with more modern decks. When I'm doing a more modern-based tarot reading, I can reach for this. And I love the representation in this deck. Yeah, I'm keeping this. What was I even thinking? I just want to reach for it more, and I don't know why it gets lost in the shuffle, but it does. Beautiful. I love that the box looks like a little book. So cute. Love it. The Threads of Fate Oracle, I think this is out of print, but this is another one that I never really reach for, but I also think it's really beautiful and super awesome. I don't use this as much as I feel like it deserves, so we shall see. I could see, I don't think it's in jeopardy though. I feel like I'm kind of at the stage of my collection where things don't get into jeopardy as easily as they once did. These are the backings. They're so pretty. This is the Shadow Edition. Again, I think this one's out of print and I don't think they're going to be making these anymore. The guidebook for this is so good. I love all the gold foiling. I love the symbols on the cards, but then also the scenes in the background. This is another one that I think just kind of gets lost. I don't think of it as much, but it's got a really beautiful combination of themes and keywords and concepts and archetypes. It's so pretty. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased I still have this. Actually, I don't think this is in any jeopardy at all. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love it. The Vintage Wisdom Oracle. This one has also kind of stood the test of time. I love my modification to this deck. I edged it in like, I think like a sandstone color. And then I took this like vintage photo stamp and like made it all distressed. And I'd also trimmed the borders off and it's so cool. I love it. I feel like this would also pair beautifully with the Carta Postal Tarot, which I also like to pair the Divine Muses with, but this is really a really cool deck. Expansive keywords, fun vintage vibe. Another one like the Botanical Inspirations cards that I feel like pairs really well with like any of those sort of vintagey looking tarot decks. So I really love it for that. It doesn't get a lot of use, but like when I want it, I really want it. And it does read really well. And the guidebook's pretty great on this one too. This was an impulse that is definitely in jeopardy. I actually ended up with this at the Northwest Tarot Symposium during our meetup during the Tarot Trade event. I think it's so fun and like irreverent, and I love that. But the more that I look at it, the more I'm like, this feels like a novelty and not something I would actually read with. I might actually see if Peggy would read with it, but she doesn't really do oracles, so I don't know. It's beautiful, like linen cardstock though. And I feel like this would be really fun next to the Little Odd Tarot, which I think is really fun and it has like the same cardstock, the copy that I have. Be Groovy or Leave Man. I don't know. Some of these cards I freaking love so much. And then some of them I'm like, eh. And I could customize it, but it just feels like the kind of thing that I wouldn't necessarily reach for, but it's so fun to look at. I don't know if you've ever had a deck like that. Yeah, I have. Like the, was it the Mood Tarot? Or no, the, I don't think I had the Mood Tarot, but I had the, oh gosh, it was like an affirmation one, but it had lots of swears in it. And it made me laugh out loud. And that's what this one makes me feel like. It's got so much like fun themes, but also really intense dark themes and like shadowy themes and like really good. It's definitely got more depth than you would think, but it's one that I like to look through, and I just have not felt even remotely interested in actually like using it to pull cards for myself with. I don't know. I'd be curious about your thoughts on this one, but this is called Visions in the Liminal Space. I think this one is currently out of print. You can only get postcards from the liminal space now, I believe. But so this one is going to go into the maybe in jeopardy bin, and we'll see. I'll give it some more thought. This was another Northwest Tarot Symposium impulse that's also in jeopardy. Even though I haven't had really any time with it, so we'll see. I do have to work with it a little bit more, I think. But this is the Water Temple Oracle. It's pretty new. It's a Blue Angel deck, beautiful cardstock. The funny thing is, I almost feel like I would get more use out of this than the Ocean Dreams Oracle, which is so sad because the Ocean Dreams Oracle is such a beautiful aesthetic. But I almost feel like the themes that this one kind of covers feel more relatable in a way. But I don't know. I might need to like really play with these both, this one and the Ocean Dreams. I wonder if my problem is that I'm just so picky about anything ocean connected. The only thing I'll say about this one is it's got like place, but then it's also got different deity and like other divine figures featured. It feels a little bit scattered to me. I don't think that's the intention for this at all. And I know that there is a good system behind it. It's like you get several cards devoted to one sort of sacred water temple, and then the like deities associated with that temple. Like it feels really well thought out, and the guidebook is really chunky, and I've done some flipping through it. I just don't know if this one is for me. So it is going to go in the maybe because I don't know. It's like Ocean Dreams. I don't know. This is one of my favorite texts. This is another really great workhorse deck, a good all-rounder. This is the When My Soul Whispered Oracle deck. Such a sweet animal deck. Now this is the indie version, but this is now available mass market, which I will have linked down below. I love this Oracle deck. It reads for me just as well as the Roots and Wings does, which is a tall order. let me tell you. But there are chakra cards in here, and there's chakra energy in every single card. The color splashes and the color choices on every card are intentionally connected to the chakras, which I freaking love. And actually makes this a really cool deck to use with the White Sage Tarot, which does the same thing with its color choices, or kind of, in their ribbons in that tarot. Anyway, I'm a little all over the place, but I really, really, really love this. And it's got a ladybug and a unicorn in it, so I'm good. I'm good. I really, really love this deck. So that is the When My Soul Whispered Oracle deck. Definitely very secure in my collection. And I have a like nice full-size guidebook that can go with this as well. Love it. Oh, the Whispers of Lord Ganesh. I could repurchase this in the new matte cardstock. I have not yet because I kind of like the vibrancy of this in gloss. Oh, we're still zoomed in. This is really beautiful. I do think it's safe. I considered rehoming it at one point, but there's just nothing quite like this for connecting to this beautiful energy. And Ganesh's energy is so specific and so special. There are chakra cards in here too, which I love and tends to give me a bit of a weak spot when it comes to whether or not I'll like a deck a lot or not. But I love the chakra element in here. But I love the way that there's so much light. I'm a sucker for that effect, for artists that use so much light in their artwork, and this is definitely one of them. I love it so much. It is really, really good for personal readings. I love the little guidebook. It's Angela Hartfield, I believe, is the author of this one, and it's a really great little deck. So that's the Whispers of Lord Ganesh, or Lord Ganesha. I always forget the right way to say it in that context, but there's that one. This one is really pretty new to my collection, and it has blown me away in the best possible way. This is the Wisdom of Hafiz Oracle. This is so gorgeous and full of depth. I really, really love this. It is glossy and gilded, but oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. It's so pretty. I'll zoom you in a little bit more. This was a deck that Peggy picked for me as part of a Say Yes to the Deck, and I also featured this in a recent Mass Market Madness video because it's just a wonderful, rich, beautiful oracle deck. The key phrases on here are incredible. The guidebook is so good. It gives you little snippets of interpreted, I think they're just interpretations or translations of some of Hafiz's poetry. The messages are wonderful in here. They're so good. And the cards are really readable even without dipping into the guidebook. But this is like that Botanical Inspirations where I feel like I would always dip into the guidebook because it's got so much beauty in it. It's such a gorgeous deck. So that is the Wisdom of Hafiz Oracle. Next up, this is a duo. So I will have these listed alphabetically below, but I'm going to show them both now. This is Wisdom of the Divine Feminine and Wisdom of the Shadow. These are incredible. I backed these both on Kickstarter, and they are so potent together. If you have not seen my full walkthrough, I'll try to remember to link it up in the cards. My full walkthrough of these, some of the pairings that come through and the ways that they combine these decks are just, oh my gosh, they are outstanding, particularly together. The ways in which it'll take you from shadow to light when you work with them together. And so I've only worked with them together, but they're so potent. These give a little competition to decks like Reclaim. They've got that much depth and intensity to them, but in the best way. Oh my gosh, they're so good. They're so good. I love them. Love them so much. So this one here with the darker backs, or the green and blue, this is the Wisdom of the Shadow. And the purpley one is the Wisdom of the Divine Feminine. And I keep these also in a divided Peggy bag. Where'd my... Nope, I lied. This is a regular Peggy bag. It's not divided. But you can tell because their gilding is different. And it is the kind of gilding that will show some wear pretty easily, but I'm fine with that. They're beautiful decks. The guidebooks that come with these are incredible. So good. The Wisdom of the Kayak is, and I might not be saying that right, Kayak. I'm really bad at pronouncing it. I'm so sorry. This is one I've done a little bit of work with. This is my personal, I need to zoom out a bit. This is my personal crone deck. The Kayak has roots in Celtic, do I say Europe? Oh my gosh. Geography is not my strong suit, y'all. Like, Ireland, Scotland, that area, And she's got a lot of power and potency to her, and this deck is incredibly special. It is currently out of print, but there will be another print run in the spring. I will have a link to the Facebook page for this creator. You can get on a waiting list for her next run, which will be in the spring, I believe. There's a guidebook that does come with this that gives you a brief message for every card, but I also have a separate book called Visions of the Kayak that has more in-depth reading you can do about this particular archetype or figure, divine figure, deity, however you want to look at her. But she really brings in the beautiful crone energy and this deck has beautiful expansive keywords. You can use it right out of the box without having to work with the book, but I really enjoy working with the book and working with the additional messages, so I really like that. This is sort of, like I said, this is my crone deck, so I love that. This is the Witches of Legend. I think this one might be in jeopardy, but I do have a really, really beautiful print from this artist that I treasure. But I think the deck itself may be in jeopardy. I love it though. It brings a really powerful sort of intense version of deity or of goddess to the forefront, but I do have other decks that I tend to reach for more that also do this. I like that it's not just goddesses, it's also figures from myth and story like Maleficent, Circe. So it's got a really cool, shadowy, witchy, vibey sort of energy, and I love that about it. It does have a potency to it, but it is languishing a bit. And whenever I think to reach for sort of a divine sort of deck, as much as I love this and have done some really good work with it, I tend to think of my goddess Oracle, which is always the one that sort of ends up winning out over decks like this. But man, do I ever treasure the print. I was sent a print of, I'll bring her out actually. It was a gift. Akalandeshvari, who is the goddess of never not broken, basically. Her myth is so gorgeous, and I love this image. I'm so grateful to have a print. But yeah, this one's going to have to go in the maybe box because, and I think in a weird way, having that print might make it easier for me to decide one way or another because, you know, I can still have a piece of this beautiful project in my life. That's going into the maybe to be discarded bin. This next one is fun. I think I might... No, I don't know. I'm going to put this in the maybes. This is so sweet, but I really don't reach for it anymore for anything, but I do really like it, and it kind of fills a unique space. It probably should have been, this is the, by the way, this is called the Witchlings Deck and Book Set by Paulina Cassidy, who also sometimes goes by Paulina Faye, and I'm not sure which is newer or which is the one she's going by now. This should really be in the other category because I don't use it like an oracle. This is a deck that functions like a spell deck for me, and I guess in that function I don't have a lot. I have that Making Magic little mini deck, and then I have this. And this does do a really good job at that specific job. There's a card in here to sort of represent lots of different magical... Yeah, this is safe. I really do like it for what I use it for, which is pulling it out as a focus card for certain types of spell work. And it's got such a gentle, sweet energy, and I do love Paulina's artwork so much. I do recommend it a lot. If it's still in print, I'll have it linked down below. If it's still in print, I recommend it for anybody who's interested in dipping their toes into spell work because this little book it comes with is so great and does have actually a little spell for each one of these cards that you can do. And the spells are super easy and accessible and don't require complicated ingredients, usually stuff you have around the house, and sometimes no ingredients at all, just you and like a focus. Really a great little set. Yeah, that's not in jeopardy. What was I thinking? The Woodland Wardens. Oh. This was also sent to me as a gift, and I don't think it's one I would have bought, but it's one I'm pretty glad to have. I just think it's really fun. It has a vibe that doesn't really match anything else in my deck. I think it could in the future end up unseated when Three Trees Tarot, Stephanie Burrows, comes out with her Oracle deck. It's possible. But I do really enjoy this. I love the sort of muted tones. It really vibes with the Oak, Ash, and Thorn Tarot really, really well. I like that there's a keyword on here. This does tick all of my boxes, really, for an animal deck as far as oracles go. And it does have gorgeous entries in the guidebook. The guidebook is really written beautifully, and there's like a little question or prompt at the end of every entry, which is super useful. It is a great little set, and definitely one that I recommend. It isn't one that I reach for a ton, but like this one paired with the Brady Tarot or the Oak, Ash, and Thorn works really well. So unless or until I have something else to fill that space, this is definitely the best one so far that sort of does that job. It's got that vibe that kind of works with those darker tone or more muted tone animal decks. So yeah, it really does do that job very well. Only 2 more left. The Wyrd of Sarah Howard is, you will have to claw this, like pull this out of my cold dead hands like this. That was a really weird way to put that. But this is the Wyrd of Sarah Howard. This is very special to me. I got this in a very, very special trade that I was able to do. I had been looking for this deck for the longest time. It was one of those unicorn decks for me. I love Gabby Angus West's artwork so incredibly much. And this deck is so beautiful and reads very, very well. I love pairing it with the Bonefire Tarot, her more popularized mass market tarot deck. That was an indie. I also have an indie copy of that deck. I just love Gabby's artwork. It does something to me. It really helps me connect to my intuition. This is based on a playing card deck and has really great keywords. It's a wonderful workhorse. I have used it in client readings. I have used it for member readings. And it never fails me. It just does a really, really good job. This is definitely an incredibly usable deck with a really interesting story, and I love it so much. I wish this would come back. I don't know if Gabby will ever bring it back, but it is really an incredible little deck. Okay, I lied. I have 2 more things left. Let's zoom this out. Oops. Okay, I lied. I have 2 more things left. This is technically 3, and then 1 more after this. So this is my Illustrated Herbiary, Illustrated Bestiary, and Illustrated Crystallary Mega Deck. And this one is in Jeopardy, which is a bummer because it's so cool. But I don't use this. It's just not practical for me. As beautiful and fun and excited as I was to pull this all together, it just didn't work out for me, you guys. I don't think this is one that's going to ultimately stay. But you can get these individually, and they all have the same backings. You know, I say that. Yeah, they all have the exact same backing. What's really cool about these as individual decks, the artwork is beautiful. Let me just zoom you in. The artwork is gorgeous. There's a keyword. I mean, it's really, really, really beautiful. These are the plant ones. They all tell you what it is that you're looking at plant-wise, and then also give you like a message or a keyword. It's just a very functional deck. The cardstock is so gorgeous. Like production-wise, these are beautiful sets. Individually, they probably shuffle great, but when they're combined into this mega deck, which like, you know, that's my own fault. Oh, sorry. Which like, I mean, that's my own fault that I combined them. And I have used them individually. They're so beautiful. I've never really bonded with them as much as I want to. And it's not because it's not stunning. It's absolutely stunning. But I don't know. I get kind of locked up about using them. They're so gorgeous, but I just don't think they're meant. I just don't think they're meant for me. I never feel any desire to pull them, even after I got this newer cardstock and got these beautiful versions. So that's the animal one. These are what the crystal ones look like. Just gorgeous, gorgeous artwork. I have 0 complaints. It's incredible. It's just never something I reach for. And then you have the bestiary here at the end. You have spider and sea turtle and nuthatch and blue damselfly. But again, now that I have the Song of the Grandmothers, which has a bit of everything, but in one usable deck, this one is in Jeopardy. So I'm going to put it in my maybe bin, and we'll talk about that later. It's fine. Yeah. And in this wonderful journey of A to Z or A to Z Oracle decks, we're finally at my singular Z deck, and that is the Zombie Oracle. So the Zombie Oracle was created by Orshi, who has a channel here on YouTube, Dragorshi's Tarot, I think is what it's called. I will link it down below, I will have a link. I'll probably just have a link straight to the deck down below for you, so you can find your way straight to the deck itself. She did such a great job of this. It is one of my favorites to pull out in October. I pair it with the Zombie Tarot. It actually lives in a special bag with the Zombie Tarot because they are meant to be. I think she just did an incredible job. It's really great. I love the keywords. I love the images. It really captures that sort of zombie energy. Very fun for me to pull out in October. I don't think I'd ever pull this out not as like a fun, kitschy sort of Halloween thing, but it gives really good, meaningful readings, and I get a lot of use out of it, but it's a lot of fun. That is the Zombie Oracle. And that is it. That is the last of all of my Oracle decks. We've done the entire thing. My Oracle deck racks are empty, so I'm going to hang all of my Oracle decks back up on the wall where they belong, but at least I can put them up in a more organized way. Question mark, I guess. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope this was handy. I'm going to be getting into tarot next, so keep your eye out for the next round of collection videos. I have more tarot than oracle, so they will be in more parts than the oracle collection was. But I hope you enjoyed this. As always, thank you so much for watching. An extra big thank you goes out to the Unicorn fam. Thank you so much for your support of the channel. It really, really means a lot. And to all of you watching, thank you for your likes and your comments and your subscribes and your bells and all the things you do to interact with this content, to watch this content. It makes the whole thing worth doing. So thank you so much for being here. And until next time, may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye.